Hi everyone and welcome to a latest soldering tutorial, and as always thanks for tuning in. Now in this one I'm just going to show you two ways. I've got two damaged Ethernet connectors, so I'm going to show you two different ways of removing these from the boards. As you can see I've got the bent pins inside this one. There's a couple of bent pins in there but have been lifted up out of position, so obviously they're not going to work. So yeah, I'll show you two great methods. One of them is sort of a common method where we're going to use a hot air gun. Sort of standard method a lot of people would sort of do, but I'm also going to show you a method where if you haven't got a hot air gun, I'll sort of show you a great trick to drop these out the board pretty easily. Then I'll sort of show you how to clean the boards up, get the holes all sort of cleared out, and yeah, well then we fit the new sort of devices after that. So what we do, move straight on with a hot air method, and yeah, we'll do that one now. Right, just quickly before we move on to dropping the first device out, I'm going to talk about these PCB standoffs. As you can see, middle of the screen, this board's got a few fixing holes, so it's ideal for these. So basically, yeah, get a few of them fitted to your board. It levels the board up, raises it off the desk, makes dropping out components so much easier. They're readily available from sort of RS Components, Farnell, sort of Mauser, DigiKey, all the general sort of places. They come in different heights, so we can just screw two together, make the board higher. Like I say, so it levels your board up instead of trying to prop it on sort of certain items to sort of level it up. Get some of these, and yeah, it really will aid you. So anyway, what we do now, quickly get on with the hot air removal method, and yeah, we'll show you that one. So moving on with the hot air method, what you tend to get on these Ethernet connectors, you get two black plastic lugs come through the board. They tend to be quite tight in these holes that can prevent the connector from dropping out of its own accord. So even you melted all the joints and the two sort of fixing ones at the end, the connector will not drop out with a little bit of without a little bit of aid. All I do, get the end of a pair of tweezers, place it inside the connector body. Once I'm confident all them joints are melted, I'll gently ease the connector downwards and it should come out fine. So what we do is start applying the hot air and try and drop this out. Before we apply the hot air, what I've done here, I've just added some external flux just around the general area just to aid the solder to melt. For this one I'm using the Quick 861DA rework station. Got the hot air set to about 400 degrees Celsius. Got my air on that set to about 100. So what we do, start bringing the hot air in and try and get this removed. So what I tend to do when I'm using hot air, I tend to circle the whole area. You will hear the air going, hopefully you can hear me talking through it. I tend to circle the whole area, get it all warmed up. Just be patient, because it will take quite a while. And you will see me add the tweezers inside the body and try and aid the connector out. Just keep circling the area. What you're looking for is all them joints to go nice and shiny and molten. We're starting to do that now. I'm shortly going to bring the tweezers into the connector and give it some slight pressure. So put them inside the body. Just keep circling the air until you're confident they've all gone. Well, any second the connector should go down. Well, it's starting to go. Very close to going. Right, that's got the connector out now. That's got it out. As you can see, the fixing holes are clear. I'll just bring the connector out the side so you can see it coming out. There it goes, down there. So basically that's the way to do it. You definitely need the aid of the tweezers to help you sort of aid the connector out. And that's how you sort of use the hot air. So what I do after this, I'm just going to do another version now. We don't need hot air. That's for all you people who haven't got one. So we do that version, then we get the board turned over, show you the pads, then we start clearing out the barrels and then get sort of a new connector fitted in one of the positions, so you can see how I do that. So what we do, moving to version 2 now. Right, so moving on to method 2, this is the one where you don't need hot air. Now I've showed this previously in one of my other videos, but it's a great method, so if you haven't seen that video, maybe this is the first time you're going to see this method. What I'm going to do is take a strand of this copper wire from inside this earth cable. I'm going to link all the pins up together, put my iron on there. Obviously all the solder's going to melt on all them joints and the connector's going to drop out. Now it's a really good method, really safe. I actually sometimes prefer to do this than the hot air method. So if you haven't seen this, I think you'll quite enjoy this method. So what we do, get straight on with forming the wire, and then we'll show you how to drop this out. Right, so as you can see, what I've done quickly off camera, I've taken one of these earth strands and I've turned it into this shape. So basically all you do, shape it around the fixing pins at the end. They're the ones that hold the can. Got your 8 pins in the middle. So all you do, get all these soldered up to the wire. So it's all 10 points soldered to the wire. We put our soldering on the centre, just run it along the centre. The heater travel right along the wire. So all the solder should melt at the same time. And again, what I'm going to do is put my tweezers inside the connector, just sort of give it a helping hand out when the solder's melted. So yeah, hopefully if you haven't seen this method, you enjoy it, and yeah, hopefully something can help you out in the future. So what we do, we'll apply the heat with the iron and yeah, drop this one out. Let's just now try and get on with dropping this connector out. So I've already added some external flux. You can probably see traces of it all around the edge. So what you got to do now, I'm using leaded solder, so I've got my iron set to about 340 degrees Celsius. Quite a large tip on it, soldering iron tip on the iron. So basically what I do, get them 2 end points soldered on first. Just get them secured. So you can see they're nice and secured onto the wire. All you got to do now is get these 8 pins in the middle connected to the wire. Then we're ready to try and drop it out. So get the middle one soldered now. So it's quite a good method. I like using this sometimes above the hot air. So you've got to do, just go along. There's a few fumes, so if you've got any extraction, it's pretty handy. So I've got them 4 joined up. Let's go to the other side. Try and get them joined up. Right, so as you can see, I've got a nice fillet across all 8 pins. 2 end pins are soldered as well. So what you've got to do now is just hold your iron on the centre of the wire. Just run it along the wire. And I'm going to get the tweezers inside the connector and just give it a gentle help when I'm quite happy. So I'm going to put the tweezers in now, but I'm not going to start forcing it down yet. Right, so all you do, just run your iron along, just keep clean top of the iron. Just cleaning my iron tip just to try and aid this process. Right, so all you do, get your iron on there, run it along so all the 10 pins sort of flow at the same time. Right, the connector's gone. Just pull the wire away. So as you can see, got no damage to any of them. Right, just quickly following on from the removal of the connector, we just brought the connector to the top of the board. Just want to point out these 2 plastic lugs we were sort of talking about earlier. Now using this method, they're in perfect condition with no damage at all to them, whereas the hot air gun melted and distorted them out of shape. So if you were looking to remove one of these connectors to put on a donor board, this is a good option because you won't do any damage to them plastic lugs. And what I've done down below, I've basically cleaned out all the flux off the board. So as you can see, you've got your 10 pads now, perfect condition. They're ready for the barrels to be removed of solder. So what I do, put a few photos up what we've done so far. Then we'll get on with removing all the solder from the barrels. Right, so following on from the photographs of the removal stage, coming on to cleaning out the solder out of the barrels. As you can see, I've got both connectors here on the rear of the board, sort of no pad damage at all. Both connectors come out really cleanly. So what I'm going to do, get the board turned over, I'll show you the pads the other side, and I'm actually going to do some of the solder braiding from that side. So I sort of like to refresh the pads of solder to make the braiding easier. I'll show you a really good tip that I've showed a few times lately. Everyone seems to love it when I use my braid, so I'm going to show that again in this video. So what we do, get the board turned over and we get straight on with cleaning out the barrels. Right, so turn the board over and we've got this J1 connector, one of the two we took out earlier. Now as you can see, pads again, no damage at all. So what I was saying about refreshing the solder, with this one, solder's totally down the barrel. It might be quite hard to sort of braid that out. Yeah, just refresh the top of the solder, attach a new new amount of solder onto the top pad. It's just going to make it easy to sort of wick that hole out. Now I'm using leaded solder for this rework, so I've got my iron set to about 340 degrees. And one of the best things I've ever learned about solder braid, I know a lot of people struggle, but something I've showed lately, everyone seems to love it. Dip your solder braid in some sort of flux, and it totally transforms your braid. You're going to see the solder shoot along the braid, and you'll be amazed that a little tip like that, adding flux, can sort of really help you. And I'm hoping to sort of show that in this little demo. So I've tinned my soldering iron, a little bit of solder. Now sometimes you won't get all the solder out in one go, so we'll give it a go because there might be quite a lot down the barrel. And there goes the solder shooting along the braid. Once you're happy, just slowly pull your iron away. You've got a totally clear barrel. Now you can add your braid in a different sort of position, which I'm going to do on this one. So if you've got a lot of solder down the barrel, like I was saying, you might not get it out in one go. There's sort of another method you can use. So I'll try that now and see if this one works. So again, I've cut the sort of used bit of the braid off, because once it's loaded with solder it won't take any more. Start with a fresh bit of braid, again dipped in flux. So what you do, if you sort of add it to, we do this hole down here, if you add the braid there, you're going to get double the distance. It's going to go in both directions. So just wait, you see the solder shoot along both ways. Slowly pull your iron away again. You've got another perfectly clear barrel. So yeah, if you've sort of got too much solder down the barrel, you can do it in two separate goes. Or if you want to do it in one go, that's the way to do it. Just add your braid, different position, and you might get out sort of in one go. So what we're going to do now, just going to refresh that end hole, and then we'll try and get that one clear. All you need, just a little bit of solder, just attach it, just refresh the top of the joint. A little bit more, so I might not get all this out in one go. I've added quite a bit of fresh solder. When you're sort of braiding out holes, just be patient. So it might take a couple of goes to get this one clear. We'll sort of give it a go, see what happens. Again, I've cut the used bit of braid off, dipped it in flux. I'm actually going to start this one on the end, so hopefully you can see it travelling up the braid. It zooms up the braid. So like I say, I'm not sure if I'm going to get this all in one go. There's a lot down there, right through to the other side. So that's got a lot of it out. So all we do, snip that off, and then we go again with a new bit of braid. So again, dip it into some flux. So I'm got a good chance of getting the solder all out now. So again, tin my iron. I'm actually going to hold it in just away so I'll get double the distance on this one. So it's gone in both directions. Slowly pull the iron away. As you can see, I've got another clear barrel. So yeah, if you're struggling with your braid, like I say, add some flux, and yes, you're going to be amazed at the results. So what I do, I'll sort of keep clearing these holes out. I'll do the other connector as well, but literally I'm going to do them all the same method as that one. And yeah, and then what we do, I'll clean it up with, get the flux off with my ultrasol cleaning fluid, then I'll sort of rejoin you to get the sort of new connectors fitted. Right, so as you can see, we cleared out all the holes, both connectors. I just carried on doing the same method as I showed earlier to clear them out. Now with these two replacements, they're actually donor ones I've taken from another board. So the pins are slightly shorter than I'd like, but they do go through. I removed both of them with a copper wire method, so I've got no damage to any of the plastic, whereas the hot air method would probably have melted some of the plastic. So yeah, if you're looking to do a donor one, sort of use the copper wire method and you should be okay. So anyway, what we do, get the board turned over, get these pushed in, and yeah, get them soldered up. Right, so I've placed both connectors in their positions. every hole's got a pin coming through it. That's the first golden rule. Check that every hole has got a pin, because basically you don't want to solder it in and find one's bent underneath. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to start doing these 4 larger ones at the ends. They're the ones that are attached to the metal can, so we'll take a bit more heat. So basically I'm going to do them with quite a large soldering iron tip, and then I'll do the central pins after with a smaller soldering iron tip. So first thing I do, get some external flux added to all them joints. Yeah, this just basically is going to aid your solder going down the barrels. I'll just do the large 4 at the end first, and then we get them soldered up. So I'm using leaded solder, about 340 degrees Celsius. Like I say, I've got quite a large soldering iron tip. Hopefully you can see the solder travelling down the barrel. I just feed it in nice and slow. You've seen it going down the barrel. You want to get that nice curved joint top to bottom. So again, do joint number 2. Just feed it in, watch it go down the barrel. There's quite a few fumes coming off this, so if you've got some extraction, that's a good idea. So again, number 3. So I've got a nice curved joint again. You don't want to put too much, that's the sort of joint, the amount of solder you want to get a nice joint. So that's all 4 joints nicely done. So I've got a nice curved joint top to bottom on all 4 joints. And that's basically how I'm going to do the can joints. So what I'll do now, get the soldering iron tip changed to a smaller one, and then we'll move on to the central pins. Right, so as you can see the joints clearly now. You've got that lovely curve top to bottom on the larger joints, and you're looking to replicate that on these 8 smaller ones, and also the one over there, the other connector. So what I've done, I've changed my soldering iron tip to a smaller size. I'm using 0.5mm solder for all of this. Now if you try to do these little ones with say 0.7mm or maybe 1mm, you could just load the solder on the top and it won't go down the barrels. So yes, there's a time and place for every size of solder, but for this one I'm using 0.5mm, and you should see it going down the barrel. So anyway, let's get started. So I've pre-fluxed these already. Just lay my iron on there, just feed it in. Just looking to replicate that same shape of joint. You can always revisit any joints you feel like you need a bit more solder on afterwards. Just feed it slowly in, watch it go down the barrel. Just do the 4 front ones of that one. Just let it go down the barrel. You're looking at, if you can get 75% of the way down the barrel, or 100%, that's what you're looking for. So if you use sort of quite big solder, it just sit on the top, may not go down. So just feed it in slowly. So as you can see, got 8 lovely joints there. Let's just do this one quickly. Same again, just feed it in slowly to get that nice shape. So I get all my solders from a company in England called BLT Circuits. They're a really good supplier, really good prices. Just add a bit more to them too. Or you can get it from, you solder from all the general stockists like Farnell, RS Components, say in America, Mauser and DigiKey. So solder varies a lot in price, you just shop around. Let's just do these last 2 joints. So as you can see, I'm getting a consistent joint on every pin. So if you're not happy with any of the joints, you can always revisit them. So that's all them done. I'm just quickly going to clean one of these connectors up so you can just see what the soldering looks like really cleanly. I'll get most of the flux off. Hopefully you can get a clearer view of sort of joint I've got there. You've got that same sort of shaped joint as the larger ones at the end, and that's what you're looking to do. So what cleaning fluid I use Ultra Solve, and I use G-Tech dry wipes from a company in England called Grove Sales. I've done a total video about how I clean the boards. So as you can see, that's what you're looking for. So what we do, get this turned over, and you can see the end results. Right, so moving on from the soldering stage, just going to show you basically the inside of 2 new connectors. As you can see, I've got all the pins lovely and straight on this one, and yeah, the other one's over here. So basically the 2 donor connectors done a good job. This board should now work. So if you've sort of enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe. So I'm always putting new videos up when I can. So yeah, hopefully this video can help you out. So sort of 2 different methods, whether you've got hot air or not. So what I'll do, I'll put a few more photos up in the last stage, and then I'll see you again in the near future with hopefully another soldering video. So until then, take care, and I'll see you soon.